Oh, hello, and welcome. Welcome to another episode, Dipcatcher Radio. Are we live? We are live. Let's go ahead and change these settings real quick and then we'll get started. I need to figure out how to set up these live streams better. I feel like the first couple minutes are always me getting set up. Dipcatcher Radio Live. So today what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be looking back at the performance of the dipcatcher.com buy Bitcoin alerts. So we're going to look back on the dipcatcher.com algorithm performance. So when you go to dipcatcher.com, you can see let's pull this open. All right, looks like we've got some. So if this isn't working, someone just chat me if the audio is messed up or anything. Just let me know. And then let's see, make sure okay. All right. So I don't know if this is working or not, so I was going to start over. Welcome back to Dipcatcher Radio. This is our, pretty much we've been doing this for about 6 months now, maybe less. Every week we just get on live, talk about some important issues. Sometimes we look at the charts and do analysis. And today what we're going to be looking back on is the performance of the dipcatcher.com email alerts that tell you when to buy Bitcoin. A couple months ago, I wanted to learn how to build trading algorithms, so I started to learn this programming language called PineScript, and we have a video on that a couple weeks ago where we built our own algorithm. But today, what we're going to be looking at is the performance of the algorithm that powers the dipcatcher.com buy Bitcoin email alerts. So pretty much there's in the background there's an algorithm that's running, and it's looking at it's doing some statistical analysis on the Bitcoin price, and and then it shares the if the price reaches a certain threshold, it sends out an email, tells you to buy, and so far, just like, I haven't done any detailed analysis on it yet. That's what we're going to be doing today. But so far, it appears to be performing pretty well. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. And we're going to be looking at it through this. I've been wanting to add some functionalities to the dipcatcher.com site. And so while we're doing this, we're going to do all the analysis in the code in our app. So, while we're going through this, we're actually going to be live building some new features on the Dipcatcher site. Something I want to add here is something to show the past performance of the algorithm. Like so far I have this kind of like ragtag like calculator that tells you like if you would have been buying Bitcoin every month over the past 21 months, it'll show you what you would have earned. So I want to make this a little bit more rigorous, a little bit more accurate as far as like what the performance of this algorithm is. So we're just going to build out some like a simple view of what the performance is of the algorithm, and then we're also going to be building a new way to display the contents of these alerts. Right now, it's just a pure text email, but people have been asking for it in a Telegram bot that posts the channel whenever that happens, and also something that we can post on Instagram or Twitter. An image would be nice, so we're gonna just build like a simple image of just to visualize these alerts, and then we're gonna maybe on a future one we'll integrate with the Telegram API and then send that out with a bot or something. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So I'm excited. This is something I've been wanting to do. I have like when I built the algorithm, I built like something to do back testing in the actual like portal that you build the algorithm in. But it's something that only I can view. So when I open up my trading view chart, like here, I'll show you the algorithm and how it looks from my perspective. So like when I look at the chart here, I can plot it. So I always share pictures of it, but rarely do people actually get to kind of see the performance. Like if you see it in your email, like yeah, it's there, but like I have some like tools that I use on the back end that help me do some like back testing on it, where like I can measure like what your average price would be. So I have like my own view of this. It's not really easy to share with just everyone but me, because only I can view this on the chart. So what I want to add to the Dipcatcher site is something that'll enable people to just kind of see the performance of it, of the algorithm, and then maybe that'll be what helps convince them to to check it out. So kind of an introduction to this algorithm that we're going to be focused on. It's not like a buy and sell algorithm. Like it doesn't tell you when to buy and when to sell. It actually only tells you when to buy, because the purpose of this type of strategy that the algorithm captures is for people who make accumulating Bitcoin part of their just like general like lifestyle and like saving strategy. Like every time they work outside of crypto, and then they allocate a certain amount of their income per year to put into crypto, in things like Bitcoin. It's one of the ones that has like it has the least chance of going to zero, so it's a good one to use as savings. I wouldn't really view Bitcoin so much like a speculative investment. There are other much more speculative assets you can invest in once you kind of learn the ropes with crypto. But Bitcoin is definitely like the safest one out of all the like for just like a casual user, just because it has like the least likely chance of going to zero. And so applying a strategy where you just like take a portion of your income, like just whatever you decide to put into Bitcoin. Overall, that's a pretty good strategy to apply. So that's what this algorithm does. Is it helps you find times where prices where price is outside of certain statistical ranges of where like price is on just like an average basis, and so it just helps do some like it applies some like mathematical filters that you can use that really like what I think the main benefit of it is that it helps prevent you from chasing the price and buying in when it's high, because like as you can see on the chart, like price goes all over the place, and you don't want to be buying at the top. You want to be buying when price is low. And so for somebody who's not like a very active investor, just buying when this alerts you it's actually just like a really good strategy that doesn't take much time, and it doesn't take very much like skill to apply. Like you just when you get the thing, you just buy on Cash App, and that's like total like you'll actually perform really well just doing that. So we're going to take a look at it and then try to just display more data about it. So you can see that on dipcatcher.com. So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and I need to share on. Let me just share the link real quick, and then we'll get started here. One moment. All right, and let me share this in one more place. I should have got it set up before we got started. I got so excited that I got ahead of myself. So. All right. So what we're going to be looking at is we're just going to start by just pulling up some basic information. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go into our Anvil server modules. So just a quick intro to Anvil. It's a platform that I use for building web apps. I do it at work. I use Anvil for fun. I use it for my personal sites. I love Anvil. It's really easy to just get started on things. So this is where we're going to be building it in. We've done a couple videos on Anvil, which I think we posted, where we've actually built like full applications on live, super fun. And Anvil is what I use to develop and then host the dipcatcher site. So what we're going to do is we're actually just as like a little test ground, we're actually going to create a new Anvil app. So we'll keep that one open actually, and then let's just go to anvil.works. Start building. And so we're just going to make a new blank app, and we'll just use this basic template. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, we need to pull in the data from the other app. So to start, we're going to add data tables. And then we're actually going to pull in the data tables from the Good Looks admin data table. Actually, or not Good Looks, wrong app. Dipcatcher admin. All right, so what we're looking for is a table called dip signals. So every time that every time the algorithm on TradingView signals, it sends an API request to my dipcatcher site, and it saves the contents of the alert that the algorithm sends, and based on what the algorithm tells it, it'll save what the price was at that time, and then if it's in the threshold of what would make the alert go out, it just sends an email to everybody who's signed up. And so it saves it saves them in something called dip signals. So we're going to pull in that app or that data table from our main app. And that's what's awesome about Anvil is like if you want to just like kind of build something in a little sandbox, you can just open up a new app, connect to the data tables of your other app, and then you can just go from there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start looking at this data. So we're going to create a server module, and then just create a function that says view algorithm signals. And so we're going to do signals equals app tables dot dip signals dot search. So this shows you everything we can choose from. So the way I have this, so it saves something every time. So this sends it like this hits our database every 4 hours, and then there's a field called open orders, and open order is either none or it has a number that is like the price target. It's like if you were using the advanced version, you would place an order at that price. So I'm going to filter by ones where order is not none, because if it's none, that means that price wasn't in the criteria for the algorithm to say buy Bitcoin. So we're just going to be looking at the ones that it did tell us to buy. So we got that. So now let's just go ahead and for signal in signals, let's just print. We're gonna do that. So we're going to make this callable, and then just here in our app, we are going to when it starts, we're going to call handle.server.call the algorithm signals. Okay, we're actually not going to do all of them. We're just going to do signals 0. So we're just going to pull one out, and we're going to print it to see what we're working with here. Okay, let's keep the name for now. Okay, let's check this out. Okay, so this is what it gives us. Hi, close, open. Gives us an ID to use as a URL. When it was alerted, open order. So let's go ahead and we want to display this data. So usually, like a good thing that you can do is when you need to like you need to get data from your database and then display it on your app, you want to package it up all on the server, because the server will run faster than the code on the client. So what we're going to do now that we see this list here, we're going to just kind of package it up. So the things that we want to look at are, we want to look at what the price was, price at time of signal, when was the signal, and maybe we want to see what the ROI was, from then until now. So for the price at time of signal, that's given to us. When the signal was given to us, ROI, we'll have to calculate it by pulling in the price of Bitcoin. So let's just go ahead and package this up. So we have our display, so signals display. It's going to be a list. Let's see what's going to go in that. Okay, so what do we want? So for signal in signals, we're going to make signal display. So single equals, it's going to be a dictionary. So what are we going to want to display here? So we want to display the price. So signal display price equals signal last trade price. So this is the price at the time of the signal. Okay, so let's signal display. What else do we want to see? We want to see the created at, so alerted at equals signal alerted at, and that's the time. And now we want to do signal display ROI equals signal. Okay, so here is going to be something that we're going to have to like get ROI, and it's going to be a function of the last trade price and the current price. So let's go ahead and make. So here we're going to need to first get our current price. So current price equals, I have something over here that we can just use. Yeah, get BTC price. So this get ticker information. Yeah, so I'm just going to copy this in from my other app. So what we're going to do, let's just see if that works. So get BTC. So get BTC price. So let's get rid of that endpoint. We don't need to get that there. Actually, so we don't want to run this in the loop. So current price equals get BTC price. And so now let's just go ahead and make a function called get ROI. And it's going to be a function of P0 and P1, where P0 is the price, start price, and P1 is now. So we're going to do a P1 minus P0. Or P, so what we want to do is we want to divide it. So return P1 divided by P0, because that'll tell us. So say like right now price is 1,200, and when you started, price was 1,000 or 10,000. P1 over P0 means 12,000 over 1,000, so that would be 1.2, and so that means your ROI would be 20%. So P1 over P2, or P1 over P0 will give us 1.2, so now we need to subtract 1 from it to get the decimal, and then multiply it by 100, and we are going to, so I know that probably needs to be a float. This probably needs to be a float. And then this should give us, so let's go ahead and round it. So this should give us the ROI in a percent that we can then get it. We can just display it right there. So let's do something like percent format string. Okay. So view algorithm signals. So now let's go ahead and, so now we got that. Now let's just go ahead and print. Okay, so now, okay, we've got that. Now we need to add it to signals display. Signals display dot append signal display. Okay. And now let's just see if we can keyprint dot key. Let's see what happens. Okay, Anvil is no module. Okay, so I see the, because I pasted in from the other one, HTTP. Okay, what else am I probably missing? Maybe import JSON. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so we've got a bunch of stuff there. All right, so looks good. And so now what we want to do is we want to display that. So what we can do is we go here to our form, and then we, so here what we're going to do is we're just going to create a new form, and this, we're going to call this one. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use this tool called Data Grid that is on the, it's one of the built-in Anvil components, and it's convenient for displaying like data, like it's in the form of like numbers, and where it's just kind of like a spreadsheet view. So what we're going to do here is we're going to just use this interface to match up these keys here, and then give them a title. So first one is price. Let's see, what order do we want to see this in? So probably price. Number 2 is going to be ROI, and then this one's going to be alerted at. Okay, and so now in order to put that in there, we're going to go self.repeating panel 1.items equals anvil.server.call view algorithm signals. So let's just make sure this returns signals display. Let's see what happens. Okay, we didn't make that the startup form. Okay, so here we go. So right now what it's showing is, you know, this is probably like the first 20. So let's see, what do we want to fix here on this next iteration? That's really the name of the game with Anvil, is you just like, you know, make some progress, run it, see how it works, see what you got to fix, you know, take that back. And so what do we want to do? We want to, let's make sure that these don't have these weird things. Let's just make this an integer. It's okay to round this to $. That doesn't matter. This is just like a weird timestamp. So why don't we make this from the perspective of the user, like what the time was in the time zone of their location, and then ROI. Oh, the percent's on the wrong side. I always get that confused. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just fix some of the formatting here. So we'll just go back into here. So the price, let's turn that into an int. Sometimes weird stuff happens because it's saving from like when we save this data, sometimes just weird formatting applies to it. So just from past experience, I know I'm going to convert it to a float and then convert that to an int, just to like capture a whole class of errors that could arise from that. So alerted at, we're just going to do the strftime %m slash %d slash %y. That's just going to make it a human readable date. And then let's go ahead and do %out h, probably h and I don't know what minutes is. CRF time cheat sheet. I do this literally all day, all night, and I still have to look it up. Hour, 24-hour clock, padded decimal number. Okay, so let's just do %-big H, %-big H, %big M, %-big H, %M. Let's just see how that works. Okay, and then ROI % goes after. Oh, and then also what I didn't like about that was that it showed not enough rows. So let's go ahead and change the settings on this to just show all of them. And also, let's see, to make this so that it's easier to see, let's go ahead and we're going to double click on in here. And what we're going to look at is so if self.item ROI, so let's see, what do we want to do here? So let's make it so the background of this, if the color is, or if the ROI was positive, let's make the background some type of green. So let's get this hex value. So let's just write this out here. So if ROI is greater than 0, we're going to make self.background equals green. It's going to be a green if ROI is greater than 0, else it's going to be some type of red. So let's go ahead and find the green and red that we want to do. So just from this little menu, let's just find like a nice light green. Okay. So that'll be the color if not, let's make that the dip catcher purple. So appearance. Ooh, that's a nice purple. Yeah, right there. Okay. Okay, so now ROI equals let's see, how do we return ROI? How does it get displayed? So we're actually giving it a %. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna check if there is a minus sign in this, because we're not giving it a number here for ROI, since on this back end we actually decided to format it. What we're gonna have to get creative here. So here, let's check this out first. So I think that so we might have to go back on this, but it'll be negative. If it's negative, I think it'll have that in it. So ROI equals is going to be true. Okay, so we're gonna have to redo this. So the ROI. So pause ROI equals if that not in self.item, which is the row ROI. So if there's a negative one, so here, positive ROI if there's not a dash in ROI, because I think there will be a dash if it's negative. I could be wrong. Yeah, because if it's negative, this will be negative times 100. Okay, so let's just run it to see if that works. ROI is not defined. Oh, duh. Okay, so if pause ROI, that's it. So what we're doing here is we're setting the background to be green if it's a positive ROI, if this returns true, if the dash is not in the ROI value, then it's going to be this green. If not, it'll be this purple. So let's take a look. Okay, so let's just scroll through this. Wow. So we started the dip catcher email alerts on in March, and literally turned them on, got the first couple alerts on this dip, and we turned them on just in time for the dip down to what's the lowest price. So so this is wow, that's pretty good. So the dip catcher email alerts went out on March 16th saying to buy Bitcoin at $4,500. And if you would have bought when you received this email alert, your Bitcoin would be up 130%. In how many months is that? So just 6.5 months. So it worked pretty well. I mean, if you just look at this, from now, just about all of these are in the green, except so there's a small pocket. So these, 5 right there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's see how many. Let's go in here and do some analysis. So pause ROI is S for S in signals if, let's see, actually, so okay, so if get ROI of the S last trade price P0 comma current price, if get okay, so we already got current price, so let's just put that in there. Okay, actually no, you know what we can do, we're already calculating this, so let's just pause over equals that, neg ROI equals that. There's probably a more Pythonic way to do this, but since we're already going to be looping through it, why don't we say format get ROI. So ROI equals get ROI. And so now if ROI is greater than 0, we are going to make it pause ROI.append ROI. So we're just going to pull out the ROIs and maybe we'll do some math on these. Else neg ROI.append ROI. So we're just going to make these pause ROI and neg ROI lists that for now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to print before we figure out where we're going to display them. We're just going to print here. So let's just see how many we're in pause ROI and print len neg ROI. Let's see what happens. All right. So of the 179 email alerts that have gone out since inception, 169 are in the green, and only 10 are in the purple. And one of them was the one that went out today. So let's take a look. Let's just do an average. So we got how many were positive. Let's take a look at the average of the positives. So let's see how good my memory is. Import statistics, and let's print the statistics dot mean of pause ROI, and let's see the average loss in the negative ROI. Let's just see if that works. I don't know if statistics is just like that's the name of the module. Let's take a look. Yep. So the average ROI of the buy orders is 39%, and the average ROI of the negative ROI signals is only 2.8%. So I'd say that's pretty good. So that's, I didn't even know what the average would have been. But, what this means is that on average, if you would have just spread it, like if every day that this went off, you put, say, $100 in on this alert, then you would be up 40%. But minus only. Okay, so let's just go ahead and take the total average. It'll be around 40%, but let's just get the statistics dot mean of pause ROI plus neg ROI. Let's see if what that tells us. So if from March, when this launched, if you had been buying on these signals, you would be up 36%. And considering that this strategy is really centered around, it's meant to be like a dollar cost average strategy where you're just like you're always saving up more money coming in, so you can just like be putting more into your crypto savings. So so far, that's been the performance of the signal. And let's take a look at the chart. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this back testing tool on my internal one that says, so we're going to take a look at this from what date do we want to look at it? We said it was from like March 8th, was it, of 2020 through, what's today's date? 10 to 2020. Okay, so is that right? Yep. So yeah, I mean, like during this time, so when it started, what was the price on? Let's see what the start date was. 3/8. So March 8th. The price on March 8th was about $8,000. Well, it rained. Okay, so that was the first. So March 8th, the price was about $8,500. So let's measure if on that day, the day that this started, if you had just bought in at that time, like all in from March 8th, you right now would be up about 26%. But what it said here was that if you had just, instead of buying all at once on March 8th, if you had have just spread out your money in equal chunks from then until now, you would have been up 36%. So that's really kind of like the power of spreading this out over time, is that you could have gone all in on this day on March 3rd. Like price had been going down, and like that's usually a good time to buy. But what happens is that every time you buy, there's a chance price could go down further, and so spreading it out over time helps enable you to like catch the bottom of that dip, because it'll just compound the ROI of your money, and so that's really the why, like in things that like in the long term macro trend are going up in this type of environment, like Bitcoin, like this is like a good one to be like averaging into the dips, because you never know where the price is going to go, but buying when price is statistically low, that's usually a good filter. And then if you just apply that over time, it starts to really add up. And so, that this is really exciting to see how well this algorithm has performed. But I mean, it's also not that surprising, because it almost has no other chance but to not perform, because this is like it filters out into these statistical bands here, and the only time it can ever go out is when price is within a certain set of these bands. And so like a lot of the time, especially because Bitcoin, like the price can just pump, like a lot of the times price isn't even anywhere near where the algorithm would say to buy. So the algorithm just filters out a lot of buying when it's really high. And so like overall, like it should wait, like unless at current times the price is like way below average, then this will pretty much typically be primarily green. And so because it just like you wouldn't be buying in all of these places. And so like the only time that you're buying is when price is much below the average price over the previous 30 days. So that's really like what this helps you do, is because a lot of times like you can get when you see the price pumping, like you always want to buy, you can FOMO, And FOMOing is sometimes fine to do. Like I don't want to tell people not to FOMO in, because FOMO is healthy. Like you don't want to not have Bitcoin because like you didn't want to FOMO in, and then for you just to never get some because like you always are going to think it's too high and you don't want to FOMO in. FOMOing in can be good. Um, but like once when you're making it part of like your like day to day like saving strategy, like where money that you're earning every day you're allocating towards Bitcoin. Just applying this type of strategy to it over the long run is going to be getting it's just going to help get your average price down, and that's really like all you can ask for, is that you're not buying the top, you're buying near the bottom, and over a long period of time, you're buying when price is cheap so that you can sell when price is expensive. And so that's this algorithm, it performs well. It looks like it performs really well because it just doesn't get you into some of these like higher one, like when price was up in this like $1,200 range, it was not signaling. And so it helps you stay out of trades like that. But also like, that leaves the risk of you not buying enough. Like down here, like price was really low down here in this like $600 to $700 range, or 6,000 to 700, even 6,000 to like 8,000. Like price, never came back down here, but it didn't signal buy. So that's like the risk that you take when applying this strategy to it, is that sometimes price can be going up and then just never dip down, and then price can go up like say like from this the last signal here up until the next signal, price had gone up 56%, and so that's the risk of doing this. And so to kind of combat that, there's also this like 4-hour interval chart that helps to get more like it looks in on like a closer interval, and it gets triggered more often, but it helps you catch like more dips, but your chance of your chance of being buying high is just higher. But like also it helps you capture times where the dips don't register on the daily interval when each little sample point is a day, but it registers on the 4-hour one. So the 4-hour one caught these dips, the daily one didn't. And so those are just like two different risk profiles that you can sign up for here on the dip catcher site, where low risk is the this is on the weekly chart. This I don't think it has ever actually triggered. Mid risk is the one on the daily chart. That's the one we just looked at, and high risk is one that just like goes off. It's a newer one. It doesn't go back as long as the old one, but that one triggers on a closer interval, so it'll signal more, but you have a higher chance of buying at a higher time. But you also have a lower chance of missing like big moves up. So there's some trade-offs you have to make. So that's really cool. So we figured out how to pull in this data. Looks like it's performing pretty well. So let's go ahead and let's pull this into our main dip catcher app. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pull it in as a dependency. So let's go to the dip catcher app. We're going to go dependencies, and then we're going to pull in, let's give this a name. So alert performance. Okay, so let's go ahead and refresh this so we can get. Okay. So we're going to pull it in as a dependency. So with Anvil, any of your Anvil apps, you can just pull in. So alert performance. So alert performance dot, let's see what this path is. Alert performance dot signal feed. So let's just see if we can pull that in. So, and where do we want to put it? That's the first question. So probably it's going to be on the enroll form. Nope. It's just the, nope, not the calculator. Where is this? So splash, nope. This one. The landing page? Where is it? Okay. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh, from Splash. Okay. Okay, so how should we display this here? So to start, why don't we just do just put another link under here, and why don't we're going to call this link performance. And so why don't we do something that says okay, so how should we do this? We want to promote how well it performs. So why don't let's make a callable over here that we're going to use on the front end, or on the main div catcher one. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the, so we're going to return the signals display data. We are going to return the pause ROI data. Right, okay, so we're going to return the display data, and then we're just going to return the all time. So this is going to be the average ROI is this figure that we calculated here. Let's go ahead and do that. Average ROI. And so now we need to do this. So let's break this out. So so display data is going to be, okay, so this is going to be the signal data. Was that, so and the display data is the first one, the signal data 0, and then the average ROI equals signal data 1. Okay, so let's actually so we want to break that out into its own callable. So actually I can just use this. We're not going to be too wary of pulling in too much data. This isn't very much. So what we are going to do is we're just going to set the self.label performance. Am I on the wrong one? Link performance. Self.link performance .text equals anvil.server.call What was the name of that? View algorithm signals. Okay, let's make sure I don't already have. Okay. So we've got that. So let's just see what this is going to be. So we don't just want to return the average ROI. Let's go ahead and format that. So it's going to be blank percent average ROI. Okay. So let's go ahead and save that. See what version of the dependency that we have pulled in. And okay, alert performance. Let's just pull in the development one. Let's just see if this works. See what errors might appear. That's pretty much how I do this. I just do a little bit, check the errors. Okay, invalid format string. Let's check that out. Okay, it looks like it's coming from this other app. Let's see why I want that. Invalid format string. Oh, duh, because I need to get number one. Okay. Let's see what this one does. Okay, so that is working there, but it is not working. Let's go ahead and save that, and then let's go back to this. I need to like import. No. Alright guys, this is weird. This is weird. Invalid format string. 43? Alright, let's just take that out in the meantime. Okay. So there it displays that. So let's go ahead and do some formatting on that. So let's just go ahead and do it straight from here. So we want to round this to how many? 2. Okay. And then let's go ahead and make this green. Let's just use this green. And then let's go ahead and center it. And let's go ahead and make it a pump the price icon. And then let's also make it so that if they click it, we are going to, how should we display the numbers? Do we want to just, yeah, let's hear it. This is my catch-all display. Maybe we can revisit this later, but we're going to do from alert, performance, import. How do we import dependencies again? Okay, so we need to import alert performance dot signal feed. So from alert performance dot signal feed import signal feed. I think that's what we got to do here. And then we're going to do signal feed. Yep. Let's just make that large equals true. Title, dip alert history. Yeah, let's see what happens. All right, look at that. So we've got, it says 36.77% average ROI. Let's take a look at that to see if it displayed. It's probably going to be a long thing we've got, but we shall persist. Yep. There we go. Dip alert history. See the price. And this endless scrolling. It's probably annoying, huh? But it's pretty cool. So I wonder why that string formatting didn't work. So what should we do next? So maybe let's work on some of the formatting of this feed. Okay, so we alerted that thing. That was giving us issues here with our string formatting. So let's just bring that back. strftime percent m slash percent d slash percent year. Okay, so let's just do that. I think the issue might have been with the hour, because the one we used said platform specific, so maybe that had something to do with that weirdness going on. So doing it by date is fine. He's got every day at 5 p.m., so it doesn't really matter. Um, okay, so let's actually run it from here. Invalid format string. All right, so let's just go ahead and Google it because this should be working. Like, there's really nothing weird. So let's just see what that's all about. Month. Okay, let's. This better work. This is so weird. This doesn't work. I don't know what to tell you. All right, look at that. So this is probably just a lot to display on this little card, but it's still pretty cool that you can just scroll through and see the performance. So what else should we do to this formatting here? So we probably want like $sign. Let's get the price format. Let's just wrap that. Okay. You know, maybe what we want to do, let's do something cool with the coloring. So let's make it a, let's do it like a color gradient. Let's convert the ROI into a color gradient. So why don't we, yeah, here we go. Okay, so we're gonna just have some fun here. This literally will do nothing for the performance of this app, but let's make the colors of the trades dynamic with how big the ROI is. So we're gonna do get color from ROI, and it's gonna be a function of ROI. So how should we do this? So let's just do, we'll do it simply. So there's there's the G channel. We'll just do the basic like RGB channel. So and these are all from like 0 to 255. So why don't we find the RGB of our like green and purple, and then we'll make those like the bands, and then the price, and then we can just come up with like a simple like arc amidst the 3D RGB plane that can be our line that the color is selected from. So why don't we go back to the signal feed? Okay, so these are the colors here. So color picker. So if we have the hex code of that, RGB is 124, 253, 191. So let's go into here. So for our green equals, so let's just get these down here. So that's our green, and then we're going to get the color picker of the purple, which is in here, in here. Let's get the purple, and then so P, put some comments. I bet there's another way if we could do it with the hex figure, because that's really just like the R encoded in this number, but this is a little bit more intuitive to think about. So we're going to make that as our range. Okay, so why don't we start this by making a G. So G is our like green. So let's just make that, yeah, so green means positive. So green, and we'll just make these a tuple. And we'll just, because that might be easier to work with. And then P is 191, 163, 255. Okay, RGB. So we want our numbers to, like, so we want the color to be something in between these figures. And so in this one, we want to keep the green. Like, green is an important element of this. And then the purple, on the purple one, it's like red and blue. So like the dominant ones are the red and the blue channel. So maybe here we keep the, how should we do this? This is a tough question. I don't know, let's just try something. We'll try to keep, we'll throttle the red. Why don't we do that? Or how about we do this? We have our, like a white channel, which is going to be just like the baseline. So something that has an ROI of 0, they're going to get this white. So that's going to be 255, 255, 255. So what we're really measuring here is the distance from this white channel. So baseline is white. So for for color in G, so G delta is going to be it's going to be a tuple. So here, let's just do this. For color, just to make it easier, we won't get too Pythonic. So for color in, so for, let's just do C in G. So let's just do, and we'll put a counter n equals 0 for C and G if, okay, so, actually, what is a good way to do this? Why don't we just Google it? Okay, so Python color range gradient between colors. Let's just see what this. Let's see what these people have to say. Okay, well, we're not going to get too sophisticated here. Um, what we're going to do here, this might look kind of weird, but I don't even care. So what we want to look, so for what we're going to do here is based on the ROI. So we're actually going to do the ROI and then the max ROI. So this is going to like the maximum ROI and then the minimum ROI is going to be one of these. So so here we go. We're just going to do it back here. So max ROI equals max of pause ROI, and min ROI equals min of neg ROI. Let's see if that works. Okay. And then okay. And so we'll probably have to loop through again. Okay, here's what we can do. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to loop through again. So for signal display in signal displays, signals display. So let's just call this SD in case it gets confused. So for signal display in signals display, SD, which is a signals display, we're going to give a color, and it's going to be color from ROI, and it's going to be SD of so there's big ROI, and then there's signal display, and we're just going to give it a raw ROI, and that's going to be the ROI. So from this, we're just going to give it the raw ROI as that, and then we are going to give it the max ROI, and then min ROI. So what this means that we're going to do here is we're going to make this like a relative thing just to make this easy on ourselves. And so we're going to so for things that are nearby, actually no. So the maximum ROI is going to be fully green, and the minimum ROI is going to be fully purple, and then everything else relative to that is going to be some difference between this white to the purple. So, oh, I know what we can do. Duh, I'm so stupid. Let's just add that to the alpha channel. So rather than RGB, oh my gosh, we are so overcomplicated. We're going to do the RGBA, which is going to be, you know, RGB then A, where A can be ROI, either ROI over max ROI or ROI over min ROI. Okay, so that'll make this a lot easier to do. So RGBA. Okay, so if ROI is greater than 0, A equals ROI over max ROI. Else, A equals ROI over min ROI, and we're going to get the absolute value of that. Just so it's positive, because this is positive. And so that'll tell us like how close this was to that one. And so what we're going to return a color that's going to look like this. It's going to be a string because that's what RGBA, R, G, B, A, where A is a decimal number. So let's just make sure it's a float. And we're going to round it to, let's get 3 decimals. I don't know if that'll help. And same here. We're going to round the float to 3 decimals. And then we are going to return RGBA, and that should give us the color. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to append that to each one of there, and then that should give us the feed of colors. Very simple. So now we need to get the RGBAs. So R equals, okay, so we already have, so if ROI is greater than 0, here, we're just going to do it like this. We're just going to make this a single RGB, comma A, and then our RGB here is going to be this string. So G is going to just be a string rather than that. We don't need to do that. What were we thinking? I was so dumb. I think we caught ourselves. That would have been way too hard. So RGBA, okay. So ROI is greater than 0. RGB is going to equal G, and here RGB is going to equal P. We're going to format that as RGB, comma A. Yep. Probably missing that. Okay, so now let's see if this will actually work. So now what we can do is we can do self.item color. And if that just works, that'll be so cool. First time, think it will? No, we'll get somewhere. Yep, RGB. RGB equals RGB. A equals A. Duh. Name RGB is not defined. RGBA equals is defined. Oh. It is totally defined. What's going on here? RGB is not defined, even though it is defined right there. So let's just give it something like white. case something weird happens. Okay, we're just gonna get rid of these and we'll do the ordering. Oh, duh, RGB. Float expected most one arguments. Oh, duh. Let's see what's going on. Oh yeah, look at that. There we go. So, some lighter color ones, lighter color. Only a couple. I mean, most of the losses, if they do exist, are pretty small. So, I'm pretty pleased with this, to be honest. This is good. Like, a couple big wins, small wins. I mean, the biggest loss is only 7%. That's nothing. You bought that. You just turn around, post collateral with it. Easy. All right, this is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and save that, and let's just display it up in here. Did we get the dollar signs on those? Yeah. All right, it's exciting. So this changes with the price. So this is pretty cool to see. Let's go ahead and click that. Yeah, that's cool. Shows the big winners. All right, so the formatting is looking pretty good. It's showing this. All right, so I think with that, we've kind of covered a lot here. So thanks for joining. This is now, before we go, last step, let's go ahead and turn this live. So we're just going to hit version history. We're going to save the current version, and we are going live. All right, so now if you go to dipcatcher.com, let's check this out. All right, 36.81% average ROI. And there you go. It's all right there. So yeah, go ahead and check it out, dipcatcher.com. If you haven't signed up yet, go ahead and sign up there. If I were you, I would select mid-risk and high-risk. If the high-risk ones, something like sometimes when the price is really dipping, that might fire off like 6 times a day for a couple days, but then it might not for a couple weeks at a time. So I would select mid-risk and high-risk, and then you'll be getting emails when these go out. And so far, if you had been buying at these signals to date, your average performance would be about 36.81%. That's pretty good. In that same time period, Bitcoin is only up like 20%. So if you had been buying with these, you'd been outperforming Bitcoin, which is really all you can ask for. That's really how you should be measuring your financial performance. And so with that, thank you for joining us. If you want to learn how to build web applications like these, check out anvil.works. Learning Anvil really changed my life as far as like the things that I could create and the types of problems I could solve. So that's how everything we built here, it was all with Anvil. If you want to learn more about that, we have some other videos on our channel about building different web apps with Anvil. And also just make sure you check out dipcatcher.com and sign up for the tools that we have. And until next time,